Welcome. Hello. Welcome to Kitchen and Culture. This is our first program of the year and our third one of the season. But before I continue, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sylvia Mangalene. I am the president of Kitchen Culea Culture Society. And today we are here to present our program, Kitchen and Culture. But before we continue, I would like to make a land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that we are in the territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people, also known as the Esquimalt and the Songhees First Nations. I would like to acknowledge that they have been generous enough to know and to lend our land to us, to share it with us. So we are here now, raising our children and working in their lands. And I would like to acknowledge that. Tonight, we are in the company of Carlos and Jimena. Jimena is the host of the program, as you know, and Carlos is our new chef. So for all of you that have been following us, as you know, this is a program that brings chefs or people that are enthusiasts of cooking to show us cook dishes from their country of origin so that we can learn and we can try other things, other flavors. So today we have Colombia, and we have Colombia as well. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let our host Jimena to guide you through this wonderful, flavorful season that we have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Silva. Thank you very much. Okay, well, welcome everyone to Kitchen and Culture. This is going to be a cooking journey where we're going to be fighting racism one recipe at a time. And I am very grateful to be here today. My name is Jimena, and I will be your host. I am from Colombia, and our chef just happens to be from Colombia today as well. So it's going to be 2 times Colombia. It's going to be good. I would like to start by thanking our community partners. First of all, the Culea Culture Society team, the board of directors. Thanks to them, this is happening right now. And also Heritage Canada, Van City, Shaw Spotlight, and the community kitchen here at the Victoria Public Market. So thank you very much to community partners. And today we're going to be traveling around 6,900 kilometers all the way to Colombia. Our chef here, his name is Carlos Ramón Morales.
Yes, this is my name.
Did I pronounce that well?
Yes, indeed, of course, indeed, because you're from Colombia.
Yes. So, well, thank you for joining us today. Let's talk very quickly about the display, because maybe we can talk more in the second part of the event. But maybe just a little overview of the display. Why did you choose the recipe that we're going to be cooking today? The name of the recipe and a little bit of a background.
Okay, here we are. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Culea Culture Society. Thank you, everyone, for letting me have this great opportunity to share a little bit of Colombian culture and a little bit of Colombian food here. So about the display, I brought briefly some of the best representations of my country. We have here el sombrero aguadeño, that is from the center of the country, and really related to the coffee growing area. And we have here, of course, the coffee that is our national product, as well as the Vuelteado hat. That is the national hat of Colombia. That is that one, of course. It's a beautiful hat that is from Las Sabanas, from the north of the country. And it has a beautiful story that we will talk in detail later. And of course, the mochila that is linked to the sombrero volteado, as well as the rabo gallo, to build one of the most beautiful and most representative national costumes, that is the cumbiambero that we will be showing later in the show.
Awesome. Great. And so what's our dish today?
Our dish today is a dish that is really popular probably in Latin America. That is shrimp cocktail. But today is going to be Colombian way. So we're going to do it quick, easy, and delicious. And it's a way to make it faster and make it tastier and bring a little bit of Colombian flavor to Victoria. Why not?
Sounds good. That sounds great.
Yeah, and how better than one Colombia, twice Colombia.
Yeah, twice Colombia. So
Good.
that's great. So ceviche is like something that is very traditional from a lot of countries. And I noticed that every country, even every region within every country, would have a different way to do it.
Yes.
So this is going to be very interesting because this ceviche is going to be cooked, right?
Yes, it's going to be cooked. It's going to be raw because the majority of ceviche we know, for example, the bigger representation will be like the Peruvian ceviche. It's cooked 4 hours, 5 hours, but not in heat. It's in the acid of the lime or the lemon. So we're going to fast a little bit the process here by cooking everything. So we're going to have the opportunity that all the ingredients will showcase all their flavoring. It's going to be an explosion of flavor.
Nice. Well, let's get started.
Let's get started. So we're going to start by chopping the onion. I choose a red onion because red onion, the flavor is a little bit sweeter and is also lighter in terms of the filling of the onion. So it's the one who is going to, this one is not going to let you in tears after you
Nice.
got it.
And so the onion would be prepared for a side dish, right? It's going to be like a
Yes.
pickled onion.
We're going to prepare, first of all, a pickled onion. There's going to be a companion, like a side dish that you can mix with the main dish we're going to cook today. So to start, we're going to chop it in half. And I like taking out the external layer of the onion. These help us to have like really, really nice onion in our hands. And also to get rid of the entire part of the skin of the onion, the external skin that is pretty dry. So here we go. We take off the external layer and we start cutting the onion in feathers. How do we do that? We're going to cut it really, really thin. And this is the way we're going to do it for the side dish and also for the main dish. So here we are.
So Carlos, you mentioned that the red onion is maybe better in the way that
Yes.
is maybe less tart and
Yes.
less strong. But we could also do the pickled onions with regular white
Regular onion
onions or yellow
work
onions. Yeah.
very well. So you can pick either the red one, big one, white one, small one. So, first of all, we're going to do the pickled onion. That's why we're cutting this onion in feathers. This is like one of the best ways you can cut the onion because you can use it for many purposes. So we put to boil some water. Sometimes some people have problems with raw onion. So this is a very, very nice way to avoid the problems of having raw onion. I put myself as an example because I have problems when I eat raw onion. So here we are. We're going to wait until the water is set. Now, meanwhile, we can start like doing the main dish.
Okay, so now that we're starting the main dish, you mentioned that we're going to do one ceviche with shrimps.
Yes.
And another ceviche, we're going to do mushroom ceviche.
Yes, we're going to do mushroom ceviche for the people who don't like seafood or for the people who don't eat meat. Or also as a side dish, it could work it pretty nice. So there you go.
And really, like the shrimp could be replaced by any other fish. And
Yes.
the mushrooms can also be replaced by any other vegetable, really.
I'm not sure about another. Yeah, probably. It could be like zucchini would be like a nice option. But here to have like the experience of the ceviche in the shade of the shrimps, we pick the yes.
Okay. So we added a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil.
Yes. We're going to put it all around our pans so it doesn't stop. So now that we start chopping the onions, we got all the onions chopped. So we're going to put half and half in both pans because we're going to do it simultaneously. So let's pour some onion here. This is going to take like around 1 onion for each preparation. So here we have. Now the rest of the onion, we're going to pour it in the hot water that is already ready to start boiling it to make the side dish we have been discussing from the beginning.
Lovely. So we have the boiling water for the side
Yes.
dish, the pickled onions, and we have the two pans, one for the ceviche with mushrooms and the other with the ceviche with shrimps.
Yes.
Lovely.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to be frying up the onions.
Yeah, first we're going to start frying the onions because we're going from the hardest to the softest. So,
Smells good.
yeah, it smells pretty good. The next ingredient is going to be the pepper. So there is something pretty cool or a fun fact about the pepper, and is you can find a male and a female pepper.
Really? How do you know that?
How do you know that? Depending on how bulbs it has. So if it's 4 bulbs, it's a female. If it's 3 bulbs, it's a male. Some people say that it's a myth, but it probably works. So they say that the female is sweeter, so you can eat it raw.
Oh, wow.
And the male is a little bit more bitter, so necessarily you have to cook it to
Ah,
have
that's
a nice
interesting.
experience. Yes.
I never heard about that. Interesting. Would you like me to start cutting the pepper?
Yep, sounds good. Let me show you something. When we want to get rid of the seeds, we start by taking out the top part of the red pepper. So like this, we just pull, and then we have all the seeds gone. So you don't have to struggle like getting rid of the seeds. Now you have your pepper thoroughly clean. Now, we can chop it half and a half.
Okay. Do you want it also in slivers?
Yes.
So, Carlos, what prompted you to choose ceviche as the recipe you were going to share with us today?
What was the question? Sorry.
What prompted you to share this recipe with us today? Why ceviche?
Why ceviche? Because this is a recipe that you can find anywhere in Colombia. It's a really easy recipe. And also, it's a recipe that can help you to, when you have people around the house, for example, to watch game, to share with them, so you can make it, and it's going to be easy, and it's going to be very nice.
Is that a recipe that you used to have often at your house when you were younger?
Yes, when I have people around, I like preparing ceviche because it's really easy and really nice. It is nice when you're chopping the pepper to get rid of these white things because it's going to add a little bit of bitterness to the recipe.
And so on top of the ceviche that we're going to be cooking, there's also a tostada,
Yes.
which is also very traditional from Colombia.
Indeed, it's really, really traditional from Colombia. It's
And
the
very
last
traditional
thing we
from a few countries around. And there's also a lot of ways to prepare the plantain.
So yeah, we're going to show how to prepare it in two ways. We're going to prepare it flat, and we're going to prepare it with a cup of a shape, with the shape of a cup. So yeah, now we're going to add garlic, so a little bit of taste on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's add some garlic.
So what's happening with the pickled onions? They have boiled.
Yes, they are
And-
already boiling.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to leave them. It's around like 3 minutes while boiling, and then we're going to remove a little bit of the water there. So I think it's time to stop the onion.
So basically, they boil for what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes around. Now let's recap a little bit. So what we have done. First of all, we have placed the onion, that in Spanish is cebolla, so you can try to say, and boiling the cebolla to make pickled onions. So this is like the first step. Next, we put some cebolla on our pans. Then we add some peppers, pimentones o pimientos, dependiendo la zona de Latinoamérica, depending the area of Latin America where you are. They could be called pimentones o pimientos. And we add a little bit of garlic. So this is how we are going now. We're going to add tomato. Now, we can chop the tomato in two ways. We could make it in cubes, or we could slice it like we did with the onion. So either way could work. Now, what I do is I take the top part, and then I start building like the shape of the cubes. It helps like to reduce the size of the tomato and to help it cook better. We don't really want to have tomato pieces. We want them just to disappear and to make part of the dish. So here we have.
Okay. Meanwhile, the onions, the peppers, and the garlic are nice and brown.
Yep.
So the heat is right now, maybe I would say medium.
Yes. Preferably to be medium because we don't want to burn our preparation.
Yeah. Okay. And we're going to let it cook until the tomato kind of dissolves, right?
Releases a little bit of the
A bit of juice.
a little bit of juice. Yeah.
Do you cook?
Yes.
Do you cook traditional meals, traditional Colombian meals often?
Yeah. Well, when I can, I cook traditional meals to my family, to my relatives, to my friends. So I've been here only for quite a few months. So I'm staying with my family, and they have had the opportunity to try a little bit of my Colombian cooking. And also, I live. My brother-in-law is from Turkey, so I have had the opportunity to try a little bit of Turkish food. That is awesome. I have to say that it's beautiful. All the flavors, all the textures, everything is very, very nice.
Oh. So do you feel that you sometimes adapt the traditional foods from Colombia to being here, maybe to the ingredients that you find, and maybe the time that you have can allocate to cooking?
Well, probably adapting very much now because you can find pretty much everything here in the really good quality. Probably adapting the timing and the portions would be like a good example because, for example, plantains are not that big here as we can find it in Colombia. So probably you have to adapt a little bit more on the recipe depending on the size of the products you find here. But for example, for this dish, you can find pretty much everything. So you don't have to worry about adapting very much the recipe. Good. So let's recap a little bit. So what do we have here? We're waiting for the pickled onions to cool down a little bit. We're starting to prepare simultaneously the ceviche with shrimps in the ceviche with mushrooms. There we go. Let's start.
Time to add the main ingredient.
Yes, it's time
Lovely.
to add the main ingredient. The next time is shrimp. Camarones in español y in Spanish. Those are camarones. And let's add the shrimps, the mushrooms. So now we're going to wait until they start cooking. Let's keep going with the pickled onions. That the water is staying, is taking like a nice red color. It's time to add around a cup of white vinegar. Or until all your onions are totally covered. This is going to be the pickle magic of the recipe of today. So you can add a little bit more until it's totally covered. Good. That is something really important because the flavor of the white vinegar is not the best. So you don't want to drink white vinegar. That's why we add a little bit of salt just to break this bitterness and to bring all the taste of the onion out. We're going to put a little bit of salt and we're going to mix it. Then we let it set until it's totally done. Let me try to show the camera how they look. Isn't it good?
Nice.
Very nice.
So let's talk about the tostadas for a second.
Yes.
Because that's another very traditional
Indeed.
part of Colombian
It's
food.
It's very traditional, the tostadas, and you can find it in any place in Colombia. So, and you can, with the tostadas, you can make barbecue and add some tostadas, and it's gonna run. So, you can mix them with anything. Yeah, so let's pour some oil and wait until it's hot enough.
So Carlos, could you share with us maybe memories about the meal times in Colombia when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. Eating in Colombia or the meal time is really important for us as families because it's when we gather around to chat about the day, to chat about different things, and sometimes not really deep topics, but just to share with your family. So, yes, talking about cooking and gathering around the table is really important for Colombians. So we have a lot of memories all around.
So who used to cook back home?
Sorry?
Who used to cook back home?
Back home, my mom is a wonderful cook. My dad is a wonderful cook. My aunties are beautiful cooks. My grandma was a beautiful cook. So we can say that pretty much everyone back home cook in our family. So this is a really important part of our family, cooking.
Okay, so time to pour the cilantro.
Yes. Let's pour it and let's make it release a little bit of the taste. We don't want it to be like really totally cooked. We want to preserve it like a little bit pristine to keep all the sensation around. Now that we have poured the cilantro and the parsley on our preparation, let's pour some tomato sauce to make it Colombian style. So we're going to pour around half a cup around everywhere. If you want, you can put a little bit of spiciness around, but most of the people, well, now in Colombia, the majority of the people like the ceviche with a little bit of spiciness. So this is going to work.
And so the fact that it goes with a bit of ketchup, then we don't necessarily have to add
No, we didn't have
much
to add
of anything else,
No.
really.
all the flavors and all the tastes are being released during this process. So, and the ketchup has some salt, so
And then
Yes.
let's get focused with the plantain,
yes, plantain.
tostadas.
How you open the plantain? The plantain is really, really easy to open. So just get rid of the front part, get rid of the back part, and then you cross it. You can see the veins that it has. You can take it as a guide and just start cutting around. So once you cut it, you start peeling the plantain. And it's really easy to peel the plantain. There you go. You have to put a little bit of strength in your hands, but the skin takes off really, really easy. So this is how you make the plantain. Now we're going to make it in two ways. We're going to learn today how to serve it. We're going to serve it totally flat and with the shape of a cup. So, now we take it and we cut it in pieces. Now we have to check first, before everything, that the oil is hot enough. So we cut a little bit of the plantain and you pour it into the oil. So the oil needs to heat a little bit more. Plastic bag, very important for the plantain, because you don't want to smash all your kitchen with plantain all around. So we use a plastic bag to make it easier, way easier. So we cut it
Because the
here.
thing is that we're gonna have to smash it.
We have to smash
So in order for the smashed plantain not to get sticky on other surfaces,
Yes.
it's nice to have it wrapped.
it. Yes, plastic
Baking
bag
plastic.
or baking paper, any barrier that helps you to keep the plantain in a place. So we have a plastic bag, and it seems that the plantain is almost ready,
So how do you know the oil is ready?
because I put a little piece of the plantain, and if it starts boiling, like bubbling, it's because the oil is hot enough. We're going to fry twice. That's why it's important to have paper towels around to get rid of a little bit of the oil that is releasing. I don't know if you can check. Now, why do we cook it twice? Because the plantain is really hard. So we first want to make sure that the plantain is soft enough so we can smash it and do the tostadas, patacones, or tostones, however you want to call them. So now we pour the plantain here and we wait until it gets tanned so we know that it's already ready. So we're going to make the difference between the raw and the cooked, that it got like a little bit tan. I'm going to pour these other pieces here.
So basically, in order to smash the plantain, we need to pre-fry it lightly.
Yes.
So it gets nice and soft and we can smush it and it keeps
true.
it.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes I like singing. We have a nice sing.
I can help you with probably something
Okay, good.
from Colombia.
Good. What should we do? In my mind there are so many songs.
Colombia, tierra querida.
Colombia, tierra querida, himno de fe y alegría. Cantemos, cantemos todos, himno de paz y alegría. Vivemos, siempre vivemos a nuestra patria querida. Su suelo es una oración y es un canto de la vida. Su suelo es una oración y es un canto de la vida. Cantando, cantando yo viviré. Colombia, tierra querida. Cantando, cantando yo viviré. Colombia, tierra querida. Colombia!
Hey. That definitely adds up some salsa.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So that's a traditional Colombian song, of course.
Yes.
It's called a cumbia.
Yeah.
And the name of the song is called Colombia, Tierra Querida. Colombia, our beloved land. Yes.
Something
correct.
like that.
Correct.
So now that we have our plantains ready, we're going to set like the barrier we were talking about here. We're going to put the plantain here, and we're going to close it.
So this is more of a presentation,
Yes.
interesting presentation if you
That
wanted
is
to
true.
wow your guests.
Yeah, it's more like a fancy way to present it.
Exactly.
Now we can see that the plantain is perfectly shaped in a cup. So now we're going to pour again to finalize this process. So we're going to do 2 and 2. Let's put this in here. Now we put the plantain, we set the barrier, we close that, and we make good pressure to make sure that the plantain gets the nice shape we're expecting we're going to have. There we go. Again, a nice shaped plantain. So now that we have here the plantains thoroughly fried, we take them out the oil. Very nice. Some people, in a really traditional way to cook them, is to pour them before in water with garlic to add a little bit more of taste to plantain. But sometimes it gets a little bit dangerous because you're mixing water with hot oil. That is not a good idea at all.
Yes, that's very explosive,
And explosive.
especially when you're doing with gas.
Yes, this is true.
It could be
So now,
dangerous.
to do the traditional way, we set the barrier, we place the plantain, and now we're going to push it. We're going to make good pressure to make it round.
Nice.
We have this to stone. And let's make the other one.
So the plantain is a very versatile.
Yes, it is very
Vegetable.
versatile. You can make it, for example, like if it was French fries, like a shape of French fries, it's going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like if you cut it, depending on how you cut it, you can
Yes.
basically cook it in different ways. So
That
if
is true.
if you slice it in thin, round slices,
yes.
you also fry them, and also depending on whether the plantain is green or
Yes.
more how do you say that? It's more
yes. Right.
ripe.
Yes.
Then it's also like if the plantain is ripe enough and you can put it in the oven, you can also have a dessert.
Yes. Sure, you can fry it and you can have
And fry it also.
fritas. Fritas, I don't remember what is the name, but it's a sweet. So here we go. Plantain is ready. It's time to set the plate.
Okay, do you want me to fill up those containers
Yes.
with some ceviche?
Yes. That would be lovely.
Let's do that. Yeah, I was gonna reach out to them.
Okay.
No. Go ahead.
¿Cómo hacemos?
Es que es difícil.
¿Cómo?
Es difícil servir con estas vainas.
Ya. Pues,
Super, gracias. Okay.
cannot forget the pickled onions. We're going to go on the top.
This looks yummy. It's a very nice presentation, by the way.
It is. It's a very, very nice presentation. So we have three ways to present it. The first one will be like a sharing a snack with your friends with some crackers that you can put. You can pour all the product on the crackers. You can mix it however you want it. The second one will be a little bit more fancy. It will be like these bowl-shaped plantains. And it's going to be very nice for the people who's around. In a traditional way, that is with flat plantains and all the product on top. It's three presentations, very nice presentations. You're
Yeah.
going to rock it with your with the people who is around you. So,
Good. And so now, buen provecho, right?
buen provecho. Let's
And-
enjoy.
Yes, and we are going to be following up with our second part of the show, which is going to be an interview with Carlos, and we will be talking more about his history and his stories, immigration stories. So stay tuned.
Don't mess it up. See you in a bit.
So now we're back to our second part of this cooking show, which we're going to be exploring our chef's background and immigration history. So let's talk about your childhood back in Colombia. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, it was a beautiful childhood. I come from a small town called Malaga in a department that is like similar to Canadian provinces called Santander. I was grew and raised there until I finished my high school. So it was like a sort of mixture between countryside and towny side childhood. Going around, hanging around, hiking. That was funny because when someone say hiking, it sounded like so very like a big word. But then when I realized what a hiking is, that is just going around the greens and having nice walks, I talked to myself, I've been hiking my entire life and I didn't know. Because it really sounded like a really fancy thing that you need some like, special equipment. And you have probably to dress like an astronaut to go hiking. But no, hiking is going around and exploring a little bit more. So I've been hiking since I was a kid.
I know. It's like go for a paseo. It's
Yes,
hiking.
that's right. Paseo could be like the
Un
best word.
paseo.
Yes, is that right?
Okay. And let's touch a little bit on your attire. So, because it's very traditional from Colombia. So,
very
why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Okay, so in Colombia we have five regions that have really strong traditions. But probably one of the most known could be the Caribbean region, where the cumbia and vallenato were born. So this outfit will be called a cumbiambere, but it's like built on the countryside people from the savannah of Cordoba. That is where mainly what is cumbia, porro, um, fandango were born. This is the vuelteado hat. That is our national hat. This is the most popular. And at the beginning, it was a hat for the countryside people to go to grow their products. The sun in this area is really hard. So I tried to find a way to make it easier to grow things. So that's why the sombrero volteado came. At the beginning, it was white, totally white. And now with the some other mixture of cultures, it started to get the other color. And it is made out of a product called caña flecha. Is where all the fibers came from. And the caña flecha is white. They use mud and charcoal to turn it into a darkish color. Now we have the mochila. The mochila is where the countryside people used to carry everything. Everything. Also the musicians. Yes, this is a purse for them. So the food, yeah, they used to carry in here. The musicians, the vallenato players or the cumbia players, bring some of their instruments here. So these are very important. And the rabo gallo that is really particular in all entire Colombia. So you can see all the traditional regions represented in the rabo gallo, that is this red handkerchief that I have tied in my neck. We're dressed on white and light colors because we have overall this outfit comes from a side that is close by the beach. So they use white to avoid the warmth of the area of the sun. So this is more or less where it comes from. This is the cumbiambero dress, and when you see people dancing national traditional cumbia, guys are dressed just like that.
And women wear very long white skirts
Yes.
with nice, white shirts, and they lift their skirts all the way up here.
Yes, with candles to bring the light, to bring the fire. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the cumbia, when you see all the performance of cumbia, is someone flirting.
Yes.
Yeah, he's flirting with her, but she's having the candles. So she's armed. So try to kiss me and I will burn you. Yeah?
Yes.
So this
It's
is
like
more or less.
it's like it's like a flirting game
Yes.
between the man and the woman.
Yes.
Correct. Like the man gets close and she gets
Yeah.
she steps back and then
And she
Yeah.
shows herself with her skirt, doing very nice movements, and with
Yeah.
candles, bringing
Mhm.
light in bright to her. So,
So the song we were singing earlier on, it's a cumbia.
yeah, it's a cumbia.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, one of the most. It's a signature cumbia from Colombia.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, so what brought you to Canada, and how did you arrive?
Oh my god. Can you cut here? No, sorry. What brought me to Canada? I wanted to have a new experience in my life. My background is totally different to the kitchen. I'm a dentist
Oh,
with a master in periodontics. I was a university professor and vice coordinator of a master degree in periodontics, but I wanted to have like a new experience in my life. So I started this journey of marketing. So I'm studying right now marketing at Camosun, and I'm really enjoying it. And this has been like one of the best decisions probably made. So yeah, trying to find a new path in my life probably would be like the best description of why I am here right now.
So are you wanting to move away from the dentistry
More
completely?
or less,
Yeah.
yes, because dentistry in Colombia is not that good as in here. There is a lot of competition, and the payment is not the best. So you have to work very much. Um, but there's always some other opportunities to start over in Korea.
Awesome. So what are some of the hurdles that you experienced while, making your path all the way to Canada?
Uh, well, my path has been full of many decisions, and full of like many emotional moments in my life. So more or less, that'll be like the description of my path. But moving here to Canada has been a wonderful experience. Canadian people are beautiful and make you feel at home. And you probably don't feel that you're in another country because, well, talking about my experience, as soon as I touched Victoria, I knew I could call it home. So here I am.
Well, it probably helps that you have some family here that already
Yes,
live here, right?
indeed. It has made my journey a little bit easier having family here because um, they have had a path before, so they have had so many experiences, and they share with me their experiences, and they have helped me a lot here um, in many ways. Not only they provide me um, a house, but also they provide me family again. So having a family here, having the roots here, it makes it a little bit easier. So, and they know friends. They and through all this networking, I've been knowing all this beautiful family of Kulea Culture Society, and here I am joining you as a chef, as a cook, uh, cooking these with a lot of love for you.
Awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate your cooking skills in this program.
Good. I like that.
And so, how do you live your Colombian roots and your Colombian background here in Canada? How do you express those roots? You're obviously very, very proud.
Yes, I'm proud from where I am, and I always want to try to show the best face of Colombia. And we Colombians are known to be joyful. So why not bringing joy to the world and spreading the Colombian joy all around? So that's it. That's one of the ways I could share my Colombian and through the cooking. Now you're experiencing a little bit of Colombian food. That's nice.
So, any memories that you would like to share with us about your growing up in Colombia, and maybe some related to cooking or
Well, memories, my God. But in Colombia, we could stay here an entire year telling you, and I will never finish. Yes, but cooking, as we said before, is a really nice experience. And it gathers around the family, so all family moments, family times. My mom trying to teach me how to cook and giving me some secrets. My dad cooking secretly because he cooks. When he cooks, I don't know why, but it's quite funny because the house is quiet until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Then you start feeling the kitchen noises and you see like what's going on. My dad is cooking a surprise recipe that always is delicious.
How many
We are
siblings do you have?
four.
Okay, family of
Yeah.
four.
I have an older brother, an older sister, another sister that is here, and me, myself. So this is we are all siblings. Even though we have a huge difference, because it was kind of funny. Because if you check, my older brother, my older sister, they have 2 years in between. No, 3 years in between. Between my sisters, there are 2 years, and then 9 years later, surprise, I arrived. It's like, hello, here I am. But even though we have this kind of age difference, we're always together, and we know we count on each other. So it's part of being a family, and that's what makes family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what are your plans moving forward? Would you like to actually stay in Canada, or are you thinking more of going back to Colombia when you finish your studies?
For me, the main idea is staying here.
Okay.
Because here you can breathe freedom. It's a nice feeling of freedom, of safety. Sadly, in our countries, safety is not a big word. So
Mhm.
you're afraid sometimes when you go out or when you walk away. Um, but yeah, the main idea is staying here.
So, tell us a little bit about what sort of musical taste do you have? What sort of music do you like?
Okay. Well, what taste of music is really broad.
Rock?
It's really broad because I
Oh.
like a lot of music, but mainly I could say salsa, and I could say music from the center of the country. We'll say bambuco and pasillo will be one of the most preferred rhythms that I like. Um, Merengue, vallenato, so mostly Latin music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be like my taste of music is uh, mostly Latin music.
And so, to you, what does community means, and how are you building your community here in Canada?
Well, community means gathering around and representing a shelter for the other one. And I don't mean like an actual house, but probably being a safe place for many people. How do we build? Um Sometimes you can check that migrants try to find um, people from the pretty much similar backgrounds. So letting people gather around pretty much and they stack because the stories are shared and the backgrounds are shared. So I start building here a really nice Latin community with some friends from school, also friends of my family here, and we have been building a nice community all around. So community probably means that staying together, protecting each other, and building together this friendship relationship.
And how has your integration process has been in Canada? Because you arrived recently, right?
Yes.
Relatively recently.
Yeah, relatively. I've been here like for 6 months.
6 months.
Something like that.
So you seem to be very, very integrated and very aware of things here in Victoria, and you're also part of different groups and different associations, and you're very involved in a lot of activities, community activities. So how did it all came?
Well, it was networking probably because getting to know very nice people like Kulea people and some other people, and talking around. I'm a really talkative person, so and an easygoing person probably. So I talk to everyone. I talk to everyone. So and tell stories and tell jokes. So this is how I've been building my path here, being myself.
Mm-hmm. And so, how do you perceive the welcoming culture that is welcoming you here? How do you any funny stories? Any
Well, funny stories, probably the hiking story is one of the funny stories, but I find here very, very beautiful will be the word, because people are beautiful, landscapes are beautiful, and this society, Canadian society, is always open.
Mhm.
So Canada and probably all Latin America are countries that have been developed because of migration. Some with really huge migration processes, some with small migration processes. But if you take a look, we are all migrants.
Correct.
And Canada is really specialized in bringing or making the migrant feel at home, feel safe.
Hmm.
So this has been a really, really nice part of my process here in Canada.
Before we wrap up, why don't we talk a little bit about the other decorative items that we have on the table?
Okay, sounds good. So here we have this aguadeño hat. There's a hat coming from the middle part of the country, from the Andes. This is really related to the coffee growing area. So this is why I brought it here to honor the coffee growers that have made Colombia known by its beautiful coffee.
That's the
No.
Juan Valdez hat, right?
Yes, this is from always have. That is true indeed. Here we have coffee light. Those are lollies, those are sweets made out of coffee. And we have here two brands that represent our coffee. Juan Valdez, as you name it. And we have different types of coffee depending on where it's being grown. And we have Café Quindío, that is from farmers, local farmers, trying to make it a difference with the way they try to build the coffee society in Colombia. So yeah, this is mostly hats, music, coffee, culture, food,
Beautiful.
colors. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos, for being a part of the show today.
Thanks.
We're very grateful to have you here, and thank you very much for sharing your cooking secrets and recipes with us.
Thank you very
And
much.
to you guys back home, thank you very much for joining us today. And we will see you next month with another cooking experience. For now, we were going to say goodbye. We're going to thank our community partners yet again for their support. So the Culea Culture team, thank you very much for being here. Also, Van City, Heritage Canada, the community kitchen here at the Victoria Public Market, and of course, Shaw Television. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next month.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much for having me here, and let's enjoy. Goodbye.